We bring in Tom Murphy, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, Hugh Freeze on Monday talked about maybe seeing a quarterback, or I say maybe practicing quarterbacks, first-team reps, Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels this week. Do we see both QBs in this game Saturday? Is that just gamesmanship on his part?
I think it's basically a warning to Jackson Arnold that, apparently he started the last couple of games pretty hot, but then he's missed some reads and what have you, and it's just a warning. If you don't produce, we might go to the next guy. And then on Wednesday, he opened it up further to a kid named Deuce. I think his last name might be Alexander, who's going to get first team or is going to get more reps this week in practice as well. So I don't think it could be a slight bit of gamemanship, but I also believe it's, kind of a warning to his team. If we don't move the ball offensively like we think we can, then we're going to try other alternatives because we're looking for every avenue we can to be successful.
Arkansas doesn't have a quarterback issue. They've got other issues, but certainly not there. Taylen Green leads college football in total offense. He's 1 yard shy of 2,500. Bobby Petrino is making sure that the crowd on hand at Razorback Football Live gave him credit last night. Tom, what have you seen from Taylen that he's taken such a jump, especially in SEC games from last year to this year?
Well, it's what we wrote about during the camp and everything was the more time you have with Bobby Petrino, the more you're in school. And he also talked about that a little bit last night as well, that, you learn to study tape with more intent. You learn to see what defenses are tipping to you. You understand your schemes better, especially on option routes, things like that. If you're on the same page with your receiver, then you can be somewhat unstoppable. So I think it's all those things that have played into it. Plus, I'm going to tell y'all, when this is all said and done, I think Taylen Green is going to be thought of as one of the best, not only quarterbacks, but just guys. He's a super kid, a great leader, and I think Arkansas has been all the better for having him on campus.
Yeah, we got to figure out some way. Let's sue the NCAA. Let's do something to get him another year. Because I think if you could hang on to a quarterback like that, maybe a new coach, it'd be pretty attractive to have him. But that's probably wishful thinking. Tom, I do believe Arkansas hasn't shown a ton of wrinkles this year so far, and certainly since Petrino's taken over. Do you think this might be the week when you really feel like, hey, a play here or there in a very tight game against a much more even opponent? This might be the week that Petrino pulls out some wrinkles we haven't seen yet?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously their offensive package will be tailored to every game, and it's risky to try to pull a bunch of, say, new defensive stuff if the guys don't understand it or can play fast enough. But I think it's special teams. I've actually thought about this a good bit, that, Sam had the fake field goal against Alabama that went for a touchdown. He had a big fake against A&M that went for a long run. And another nice special teams fake, too, was against LSU that it was a long field goal and turned it into a shorter field goal, but they converted it. So I think those have probably always been in the bag, and the circumstances haven't allowed it. There was one time last week against A&M, I thought maybe the first field goal, it was fourth and goal. Anyway, there was one point where I thought they might do a fake field goal here. And so I know they probably have had those, but just haven't felt the circumstances were right. But special teams is where I think we might see that most likely.
How does the weather forecast affect a couple of things this weekend? Fans and the attendance? I mean, even with the delay last week, there were over 73,000 in the stadium, according to the attendance number. I don't know if it's quite that strong, but it was a strong vocal crowd. How does it affect the crowd, and how do you think the weather on Saturday may affect the game itself?
Right. Well, I heard you talking about the weather Tuesday, and I meant to go look it up. Last week, I was more clued in on this one has the potential to get moved. There were thunderstorms and high percentage. This one I have not looked into yet, but they're certainly worth, they're certainly used to the drill, having the game move 2 hours. And honestly, that was based on the Notre Dame experience and the state of the team. I thought last week was phenomenal, that there were that many people there for that long, that engaged in the game. And as Petrino said Wednesday night, he thinks it impacted the players. And all the players have been talking about it all week, too. They know the fans have their back. They know they're this close to getting over the hump, just like Auburn is. But in terms of gameplay, I guess it would be the factors we talked about last week. Who has better ball security? Whose run game could be more productive? That would, to me, that would be edge Arkansas, but ball security probably edge Auburn. So I don't know. I'm going to dive more into percentage of chance of rain when we get off the phone.
Well, right now I'm just looking at, for whatever the Apple weather app is worth, it's supposed to start raining in Fayetteville around 10 a.m. on Friday morning, and it every hour has a pretty good chance of rain all the way through Sunday at around noon. So, I mean, but none of it looks severe. It's just moderate and light rain for about a day and a half.
Wow. Sounds like a sloppy track for sure, but not the kind of stuff that has thunderstorms that could delay or postpone your game like the Ole Miss game back in about 2010 or whatever. So I think both teams will be well ready for wet ball stuff.
That's the way that you back in the past on that. Tom Murphy with this whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, I don't know if you saw Adam Rinberg coming out with the current job openings in college football and where each of them rank. He has the Razorbacks at 5th, behind not only Penn State and Florida, he also has them behind Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech. In your opinion, is Arkansas a better job than the Big 12 and ACC school that it's going up against?
Well, it all depends on what factors you involve. If it's coaches' pay and all that, then Arkansas would probably stack above those two. But I think Adam is probably ranking them on things like access to the playoff and, I don't know, the current situation, the level of fan discontent and, how quickly you might be able to build back up. So Arkansas, clearly, I mean, there's a lot of things in Arkansas's favor, like the conference you play in, the salary you can make, your access to players in the portal and stuff. But they're up against a bunch of SEC teams who just have historically spent more money and things like that. So I haven't done the rankings, but if I was to do it, I would probably slot Arkansas over Oklahoma State simply based on what I just talked about. And
Tom, on that subject, Auburn's, I think, going to come open. We'll see if another job does as well. When this continues to happen across college football, like how much does that help Petrino, who's vying for the current city head coach position, likely get that job as his jobs continue to pop open?
Right. That's a great question. And that's obviously something that everyone who covers the team or is a fan of the team has thought about. And I've certainly seen people weighing in strongly on social media. Some just won't have it. I've talked to people who are like, well, how could they do that after what happened in 2012? Well, I mean, when you look at coaches' standards, I mean, Hugh Freeze has been in big trouble, right? I mean, so it's like college football is about hiring coaches who can attract winning players and win games. And Bobby Petrino has expressed his contrition. So I think with the powers that be, perhaps they would consider this. But I don't think you can do it by winning only one game the rest of the way. And honestly, they might want to win two. But for early returns, I would say that the way he's kept the team together, composed, and played 2 3-point games against teams that were ranked in the top 12 at the time they played them, bodes well in his favor. And like I said Tuesday, so many factors involved. Who's available, what it will cost them, who you could retain. I mean, think about K.J. Jackson. If he's your quarterback of the future, what's the best way to keep him on campus? Because quarterbacks are so important in whether you're going to win or lose games. So many, many factors. But for Petrino, I think they need to win probably both of these home games and then try to get one down the stretch, maybe even Missouri. But also, what we think of LSU and Texas right now compared to what we thought preseason, I think those teams have some vulnerabilities, and there's a chance Arkansas could pull a shocker on the road, too.
Tom, we'll leave it there, man. Good stuff as always. We'll see what happens this weekend. We'll chat on Tuesday, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, HOGS, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Must opt in during the bet to use the Bet Back bonus.